Hey everyone, I'm Ramon. Today I'm going to talk about where to start practicing fingerstyle technique. Before we get into anything, we need to talk about our right hand fingers. There's lots of numbers on the guitar, string numbers, finger numbers with the left hand, fret numbers. It can get a little bit messy. So our right hand, we're actually going to talk about in terms of letters. So the way most guitarists talk about their right hand fingers is thumb is P, index finger is I, middle finger is M, and ring finger is A. We're not going to use our pinky to pluck. So, to start off with, we're going to rest P on top of our sixth string. This is our low E string here, but for the sake of just going through this exercise, I'm just going to use string numbers for now. So P rests on top of string 6. I is going to rest on top of or just underneath string 3, M on string 2, and A on string 1. From here, let your pinky just hang loose. One important thing to note is we want to make sure that our pinky isn't actually touching the body of the guitar. So the way our hands work, we have these things called extensors. It's like a series of pulleys inside of our hand, or you can think of them as rubber bands. And our fingers naturally rest curled like this. So if we have our pinky extended and on top of the body of the guitar like so, even just a little bit, what we're doing is we're actually pulling slack from the rest of our fingers. So this limits our range of motion and can lead to some really uncomfy things. I know there's lots of guitarists out there that plant their pinky on the guitar. There's lots of different ways to play, but if you are completely new to starting this, I highly recommend learning to play with just your fingers on the strings. This makes it so our only point of contact is the strings, and we're telling our muscle memory, hey, this is where 4 out of our 6 strings are at all times. We're going to be looking at our hands right now, but using this method, you should be able to start playing without even looking at your right hand at all very, very quickly. Anyway, let's start off talking about the thumb. The thumb is an interesting one. It's got its own muscle here. When we pluck with the thumb, we want to do our best to leave this knuckle straight here. We don't want to curl it in, do anything like that. We can tend to get like a bit of a thin tone with that. What we want to do is we kind of want to push down and roll off to the side of the thumb here. You should be able to pluck down so that the thumb lands right on top of the 5th string. Just like that. This motion is called a rest stroke. And it allows it so that our thumb, after plucking, lands right back on another contact point with the string. So we're going to continue doing the same thing. Since we're already on the 5th string, we can just continue pushing down or rest stroke down on top of our 4th. Now here we run into a little bit of an issue. We're going to run into our IMA block here. So for this, what we actually want to do is we want to pluck and loop, land on top of the 5th string. Okay? So this one, we're not really doing a rest stroke down and hitting the 3rd string. We're kind of plucking a little bit outwards and then looping on top of the 5th string. Once we're on our 5th string, to get us back to where we started, we can do one more loop. Altogether, it's going to look like this for the thumb. All right, so give that a few tries and see how that goes. But for now, we're gonna move on to I, M, and A. While we do this, leave P resting on top of the 6th string. This is our anchor. There's going to be a common theme that comes back with all finger picking stuff, especially in the beginning. This is called planting. We always want to make sure our fingers are planted on top of the strings. Remember what I said, this is what tells our muscle memory, hey, this is where our strings are at all times. So what we're going to do is we're going to pluck in with I, and this might feel a little bit weird in the beginning. You might feel the temptation to try and pluck up like that, or really bend your knuckle in here, get this upward motion. But the way I want you to think of plucking this string here is try and imagine you're trying to hit the center of your palm with the I finger. When we pluck, our hand is naturally going to be at an angle like this. We want to keep plucking this way. I say pluck, but it's really more of a sliding motion. We're going to feel the finger sliding from underneath the string and get a nice even tone from there. Anyway, after you pluck with finger I, leave it floating for now. Don't bring it back to the strings. And now we're going to pluck with M, doing the same thing. Aim for your palm, leave it floating, and now A. Now, here, it's important, we want to bring all three of our fingers back, I, M, and A, on strings 3, 2, 1. Try and get used to planting all at once. All together, this is going to look like this. I, M, A, plant. I, M, A, plant. I, M, A. We're really not worried about speed at all here. It's more important that you play it consistently. So practice playing this in a loop. Go even slower than what I just did. I'd recommend doing something like I, M, A, and plant. Now, I, M, A, and plant. So, now, finally, let's combine both of these together. So our thumb, while we were playing with IMA, was our anchor keeping us oriented around our strings. So when we start off, this is what makes the rest stroke so important. We're going to pluck down with finger P, rest it on top of our 5th string. Now from here, we pluck with I, M, A, and we're going to bring all 3 of our fingers back. Before our thumb makes the next move, we're going to plant our fingers, and then now we'll continue playing with P. Same thing, I, M, A, plant. Here is where we're going to loop with finger P, land on top of string 5, I, M, A, plant. Bring us back to the beginning. We're going to loop after plucking string 5, I, M, A, plant. All together now, this exercise is going to sound like this. Remember, when practicing this, the most important thing is replanting your fingers on the string. You never want to find yourself completely off of the strings, because it's going to make it a lot harder to play accurately and play without looking. Of course, this is going to happen in the future, but just while building fundamentals, make sure you're keeping your fingers planted. Now, that's pretty basic. If you've already been playing guitar for a while, you might know some chords under your fingers. You can play all of these exercises with whatever left hand you choose, but this is also meant for beginners too. So if you're a beginner, don't worry about using your left hand right now. Just keep it out of the way of your strings and focus on your right hand. If you are looking for a little bit of a challenge, one chord that I find fun to move around with is it's technically something called like an A suspended chord, but let's not worry about names right now. For this one, we're going to place our finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then also 2nd fret of the 3rd string. I'm using fingers 2 and 3 for this one, but you can choose whichever finger set you like. And then we'll do our exercise. After that, move it up a position. So now our little shape is on the 3rd fret. Can sound a little bit spooky. Move it up again, you get some different sounds. Move up again, and you get the gist of it. Eventually, this can become something really enjoyable, and you might find some sounds you really like. Anyway, that's it for today. Main takeaways from this video: our right hand fingers are Pima, P, I, M, and A. We always want to leave our fingers planted on top of the strings. Our main point of contact with our right hand, we always want to be on top of the strings. Make sure to look at your right hand while you're doing these exercises and think about keeping things consistent rather than worrying about speed in the beginning. Anyway, that's it for this lesson. I hope you found this helpful. I'll catch you next time. Bye.